Today, good night for to start. Today we are going to talk about the impact of globalization and interculturality in Peru. So we are going to talk about many things that we know in Peru. For example, in Peru is home for more than 50 indigenous peoples that talk a different language. We have a strong culture influences from Europe, Asia, and Africa too. However, the globalization has an impact in our identity like Peruvians. But we have some interesting things about that. For example, the expansion of foreign companies has reduced the consumption of local products, like papa, for example, that we know that in the supermarkets sell us a potato or papa from another countries like Netherlands. But in Peru, we have a lot varieties of potatoes or papa. So it's a difficult to explain if it's good or it's not good that have a interculturality. So we are going to talk about the positive impact and the negative impact. For example, eh, we in Peru, we are certainly we have a lot of cultures. Like I mentioned, for example, from Europe, our heritage from Europe was the Spanish. We have a country that we talk Spanish. We have a religion that is Catholicism and Christianity. So we have the architecture for Europe and the gastronomy too, and especially from one country that is Spain. From Africa, we have a lot of things too, good things like we have food, music, and dance. We have a lot Afro-Peruvian rhythms and dance. For example, festejo, samacueca, and another kind of dance. In gastronomy, we have Danticucho. We have a region in the south of Lima. The name is Chincha. It's an Afro region. So they eat sopa seca. It's a famous dish in Peru. So we have a lot of things in our popular culture about African style. Then we have a Chinese, for example, like in this slide. We have a lot of dish from Chinese culture, for example, chaufa. We go to the chifa to eat chaufa. So it's a very interesting thing that we have from Asia. And not only China, we have a heritage from Japanese too. For example, we have some dishes and the famous restaurants in the world are from Peru, and they made a fusion between Peruvian food and Japanese food, or Peruvian food and Chinese food, or Peruvian food with Italian food, or Peruvian food and Spanish food. And we have a lot of things and people that think that interculturality is a good thing. For example, the Pope. The Pope is from the United States, but he considered himself like a Peruvian, one more Peruvian. So it's an interesting thing that we have to be very, very happy for that. Uh, well, we have another things, for example, from another countries, for example, from Italy, we have some influence about our gastronomy, for example, the ice creams and the architecture too in Lima, in Arequipa. But we have like a negative impacts. But I think the positive impacts are bigger than the negative impacts. But we have negative impacts. For example, it also led to the loss of native language, culture discrimination. We have a lot of culture discrimination in Peru. To access to the global benefits is a thing that we had. And indigenous communities still often excluded from development. In Peru, the regions that have more development are from the coast. Lima, Arequipa, Moquegua, Tacna, Lima, Piura, Chiclayo. Like these regions are more developed. But the regions in for example, Iquitos, Pucallpa, this region don't develop very much. So we have to make a proposed and a contribution to improve this situation. For example, promoting local products and the culture and identity for every people in every region of Peru. Another thing is investing in bilingual intercultural education. For example, start to learn Quechua or Aymara that are language from Peru. So I think Peru is a very interesting culture. It's a blend, I think, and that's the reason that we consider one of the most famous gastronomy in the world. Rather than weakness, this contribution have enriched our nationality identity. Creating new expressions, art, cuisine, like I mentioned, or gastronomy, so we can coexistence that are now essential to who we are as a country. It's all about we are talking about interculturality in Peru. Thank you very much.